Imagine waiting for days, heart pounding, stomach in knots, knowing two innocent kids are out there with a man capable of pure evil. The news is filled with updates, but every day feels like a lifetime. Then, suddenly, one night in a Denny's, the nightmare comes to an end. This is the story of Joseph Edward Duncan III, a predator who thought he could outsmart everyone, and how his reign of terror ended in the most poetic form of justice. If you've ever prayed that karma would finally catch up to the worst of the worst, hit that like button right now, because today, we're diving into one of the darkest, yet most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. April 5th, 2005, Joseph Duncan walks out of a Minnesota jail on just a $15,000 bond. Think about that. $15,000 for a man already convicted of sexually assaulting a 6-year-old boy. He doesn't walk out like someone who's grateful for a second chance. No, the very first thing he does is head to Walmart. He buys night vision goggles, a camcorder, and supplies the toolkit of a hunter. And that's exactly what he becomes. Just 10 days later, he rents a shiny red Jeep Grand Cherokee. But instead of returning it, he steals it, swapping plates of Missouri before heading west toward Idaho. Every move calculated, every step planned. He's not a man on the run. He's a man on the hunt. 2. The attack, May 16, 2005. By May, Duncan has found his prey, the Gruen family of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. He doesn't just barge in blindly. He watches. For 3 days, he stalks the family. He notes when the kids play outside. He learns their routines. He parks his stolen Jeep nearby, hidden in plain sight. Then, in the dead of night, he walks through their unlocked back door. Brenda Gruen is asleep on the sofa when she feels the cold barrel of a gun against her temple. Duncan forces her to wake her boyfriend, Mark, and her 13-year-old son, Slade. He ties them up one by one. Then, in a horrifying twist, he takes the 2 youngest children, Shasta, just 8 years old, and Dylan, 9, out to his stolen truck. The house falls silent until Duncan returns. One by one, he murders Brenda, Mark, and Slade. But Slade doesn't give up without a fight. Somehow, despite his injuries, this 13-year-old boy staggers outside, maybe try to rescue his little brother and sister. His courage is unforgettable. Tragically, Duncan catches him again, and Slade loses his life that night. The next morning, the world would know. 3 lives brutally ended, 2 children missing, an Amber Alert, and a state in shock. With Shasta and Dylan in his grip, Duncan disappears into the Idaho-Montana wilderness. He uses those night vision goggles. He knows the mountains. For weeks, authorities search desperately, but he's always one step ahead. By late June, he's spotted driving the red Jeep, now with Missouri plates. It's the first crack in his armor. It's a Friday night in Kellogg, Idaho. A gas station clerk notices something odd. A man with a little girl who seems out of place. Quiet. Nervous. Too nervous. Surveillance confirms it. The little girl is Shasta. Within 24 hours, the manhunt ends. Not with a violent standoff, but in the most ordinary places, a Denny's restaurant in Coeur d'Alene. At 2 a.m. on July 2nd, police move in. Duncan doesn't fight. He surrenders. And beside him, alive but forever changed, is 8-year-old Shasta Gruen. It's a rescue that sends waves of relief across the country. But the joy is bittersweet, because just 2 days later, investigators find Dylan's remains in Montana. In federal court, Duncan is convicted of kidnapping, sexual assault, and murder. He receives the death penalty for Dylan's murder and is sent to death row in Terre Haute, Indiana. But his trail of destruction doesn't end there. During proceedings, Duncan confesses to crimes stretching back years. 2 sisters in Washington, Sammy Jo White and Carmen Cubayas. A boy in California, Anthony Martinez. Each case reopens wounds for families. But each confession also means closure. No more unanswered questions. No more mysteries. In California, Judge Paul Zellerbach doesn't mince words. He tells Duncan directly, "I've sentenced some of the worst child killers. And you, Mr. Duncan, rank right up there in the top 3. Even though Idaho had already given Duncan the death penalty, Zellerbach makes sure he never walks free again. 2 additional life sentences. No deals. No mercy. Duncan never lived to see his execution. Instead, karma had the final word. In March 2021, at age 58, he died of glioblastoma, an aggressive brain cancer, while still on death row. The man who caused so much suffering spent his last days powerless, trapped, and wasting away. This wasn't the kind of revenge where someone gets embarrassed at work or where a cheating partner gets exposed. This was bigger. This was justice on a national scale. The system may have failed by ever letting Duncan out on bond, but in the end, it locked him away forever. His crimes followed him across states, and every courtroom he entered piled on another layer of punishment. And most importantly, Shasta survived. It was her courage, her memory, her willingness to relive the worst moments of her life that gave investigators a roadmap to prove everything. Duncan wanted control. In the end, it was Shasta who had the final word. Some people talk about karma like it's just an idea, but sometimes karma is very real and very final. Duncan's story proves that no matter how far someone runs, no matter how much they think they can outsmart the world, justice always finds a way. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and share it with someone who still believes in karma. And let me know in the comments, what's the most powerful story of justice you've ever heard? And of course, make sure you subscribe for more stories just like this one.